Namaste, y'all. How's it going? It's Timothy the Tiger. Today we are going to do a water experiment where we are going to test distilled water, which is going to be in this glass, versus tap water, which, all right, so I'm going to go fill it up right now. You can watch me the whole time so you know it's tap water. Alrighty, glass of tap water. All right, then we'll put in this glass, we'll put the distilled. So the first thing we're gonna do is we got this thing called a TDS meter. It stands for total dissolved solids. And so this measures essentially whatever's in the water that dissolves and you can't see it. So this is in the distilled water, and it's giving a reading of 0 right now. All right, so maybe I can bring that in closer. Can you see that? Anyway, it says 0. So now we'll put it in the tap water. And what does it say? It's getting up there. Whew. 183. You know, that's not safe to drink. That's why it's turning red. All right, so we'll do that again. So here we get a reading of 0 ppm, 0 parts per million. All right, and then we put in the tap water, and we're getting a reading of 182 parts per million. And essentially, now we're gonna do an experiment to see what exactly is in here. So this little test is, this is called an electrolysis apparatus. This is called, essentially it's an electrolyzer. And this is aluminum and this is iron. And so these two are gonna go in this cup, and then these two are gonna go in this cup right here. And then I'm gonna turn this on. And essentially what this TDS meter, because it looks invisible right now, essentially the contaminants, it's gonna bring them essentially to the surface, where not just to the surface, but to the whole glass. And you'll be able to see exactly you're gonna be able to see it. And so we just play the waiting game. Whereas this one, this is the distilled water, this is the pure water, and it's not gonna have any contaminants. And so what makes this pure water? Essentially it mimics rainwater. And when you have rainwater, obviously it rains from the clouds, and then it's on the ground, and eventually it evaporates and it goes back into the clouds. A distillation machine works very similarly to rainwater. Essentially, you get a distiller and you fill up the container and you close it off, and essentially it boils the water and creates evaporation. And then at the top of a distiller, there are cooling coils where they act like a cloud, where they'll cool the steam, and essentially then it comes out and it acts like rainwater. So essentially this is like rainwater, where it's essentially just pure water. And you can see already, you see how this is starting to turn kind of just like a yellow orange, you know, it's pulling out the heavy metals. Like it's essentially doing something that's causing the heavy metals, like the fluoride that's in this water and whatever other crap that's in the tap water. Because in the beginning, these just looked like two normal glasses of water, right? It just looked like two clear glasses. You couldn't tell the difference because they're dissolved solids. That's why you need a TDS meter to figure out, are there any dissolved solids? Because, you know, I put it back in here. It's still showing, it's picking up a little bit because we got these metal rods in here, but it's reading 2 parts per million, which is still nothing. If I put it over here, yeah, this thing's in the 200s now. And that might be because of the metal that's in here. But yeah, you can see how nasty this is getting. And this is what most people are drinking every day. They're drinking this tap water, which is no bueno. And not only that, just think of, you know, we got a stovetop back here, and people cook with it. You know, you're making some pasta, you're making some rice and beans. You know, most people use tap water when they're cooking. And also when they're taking a shower, they're taking a bath or in the hot tub or whatever. Again, it's using this nasty tap water. And, you know, look at that. Look at how that's starting to look. It's starting to look real nasty. Yeah, no bueno. It's starting to heat up a little bit too. You know, one time I did this and it got super hot. It was about to break the glass. It was getting so hot. So I gotta, you know, keep an eye out for that. But essentially, yeah, y'all, I'm just making this video to raise awareness and be like, you gotta drink your purified water. And the best form of water is distilled. And I got a video called Drink Pure Water for Spiritual Enlightenment. And if you can't get access to rainwater, or, you know, sometimes even the rainwater is questionable because they're spraying all the time every day. But yeah, y'all, you know, even though this isn't a plastic jug, you know, you can't win them all sometimes. You know, you can get your own distiller and make your own distilled water. You could do that. Or for just convenience sake, I mean, this thing costs, I think, less than $1. It's like 50 cents or something. But, you know, the distilled water helps, decalcify the pineal gland, the single eye, the spiritual eye. That's why I started getting into distilled water, was to strip away, because I grew up on this, y'all. I grew up on soda. I grew up drinking tap water. I never knew about drinking filtered water. And I was going to say, before I forget, if you can't get access to distilled, the second best thing is reverse osmosis, RO water. That was invented by the Navy so that they could get water onto submarines. And anyways, it's a really good filtration system. But what's even better is distillation at a distiller. And you know, this is just getting nastier and nastier. And you know, you can kind of see the heavy metals that are rising to the top here. And hopefully this grosses you out enough to no longer drink tap water. Because, you know, like you go to Starbucks, like say, like a lot of people go to Starbucks, this is what's in your Starbucks. You know, it's not just coffee with all their syrups and everything. You're drinking heavy metals. You're drinking this junk right here. So yeah, y'all, you gotta stick to the distilled, the pure water. All right, hopefully y'all found this video inspirational, enlightening. Yeah, drink the pure water, y'all. It's very important. May God bless all y'all. Namaste.